Subscribe because it's free.
The Galactic Council's Grand Chamber was a spectacle of alien architecture, towering spires of crystalline light and shimmering holograms projecting the insignias of 100 species. The air buzzed with tension as the Council's High Arbiter, a towering figure with iridescent scales and a voice that resonated like thunder, stepped forward. "Humans of Earth," the Arbiter began, their words echoing across the chamber and transmitted to every corner of the galaxy. "Your reckless expansion, your disregard for galactic law, and your insatiable hunger for resources have left us no choice. By unanimous decree, the Galactic Council hereby declares war upon your species. Surrender now or face annihilation." The declaration was broadcast across the galaxy, a moment meant to inspire fear, to force humanity to its knees. The Council expected panic, desperation, perhaps even a plea for mercy. Instead, the response was silence. Not the silence of fear, but the silence of indifference. On Earth, life went on as usual. News outlets briefly mentioned the declaration before moving on to sports scores and weather updates. Social media exploded, not with panic, but with memes. Galactic Karens at again. One post read, accompanied by a picture of a disgruntled alien diplomat. Another showed a human shrugging with the caption, "When the galaxy declares war, but you've got work in the morning." The Galactic Council was baffled. They had expected humanity to cower, to beg for negotiations, to at least acknowledge the gravity of the situation. Instead, they were met with jokes, memes, and a collective shrug. "Do they not understand the severity of this?" One council member hissed, their tentacles writhing in frustration. "Are they truly so arrogant, so blind to their own inferiority?" Another member, a species known for their strategic brilliance, frowned. "Or perhaps they know something we do not." Meanwhile, on Earth, humanity carried on. Farmers tended their fields, children went to school, and scientists worked in labs buried deep beneath mountains. In one such lab, a group of engineers monitored a massive screen displaying the galaxy's star systems. They declared war. One engineer said, sipping coffee. "About time." Another replied, adjusting controls on a device that hummed with barely contained energy. "Let's see how they like our welcome party." The Galactic Council, determined to make humanity take them seriously, mobilized their fleets. Hundreds of warships, each a marvel of alien engineering, converged on Earth. The Council's leaders watched from their command center, confident in their superiority. "This will be a swift victory," the High Arbiter declared. "Humanity will learn their place." As the alien armada approached Earth, their sensors detected nothing. No fleets, no defenses, no signs of preparation. The Council's commanders exchanged uneasy glances. "Where their ships?" one asked. "Where their weapons?" Before anyone could answer, the sky above Earth lit up. Orbital defense platforms, hidden until now, activated in unison. Energy shields enveloped the planet, and swarms of drones emerged from hidden hangars. The alien fleet opened fire, but their weapons dissipated harmlessly against the shields. Then humanity struck back. The drones moved with terrifying precision, dismantling the alien ships piece by piece. AI-controlled warships, sleek and deadly, emerged from behind the moon and tore through the armada. The Council watched in horror as their fleet was reduced to scrap metal in minutes. What are they?" the High Arbiter whispered, their voice trembling. No one had an answer. On Earth, the engineers monitored the battle with calm detachment. "Looks like they brought their entire fleet." One remarked. "Overkill much?" Another joked. The lead scientist, a woman with sharp eyes and sharper mind, leaned back in her chair. "They thought they could intimidate us," she said. "They have no idea what we're capable of." As the last alien ship was destroyed, a single human vessel, small but bristling with advanced technology, left Earth's orbit. Its destination, the Galactic Council's capital. The Council, still reeling from the loss of their fleet, scrambled to prepare for the inevitable, but deep down they knew they had made a terrible mistake. Humanity wasn't just another species to be conquered. They were something else entirely, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Council's capital world, a sprawling metropolis of towering spires and shimmering energy fields, was a pinnacle of their civilization. It was here, in the heart of their power, that the Council's leaders gathered to assess the catastrophic failure of their fleet. The High Arbiter, their scales dull with anxiety, addressed the assembly. "We underestimated them," they admitted, their voice heavy with regret. "But we cannot afford to falter. Prepare our planetary defenses. We will not let them take our home." The Council's engineers worked tirelessly, activating every shield, weapon, and drone at their disposal. The capital skies were soon filled with a network of defensive grids, a fortress they believed to be impregnable. Yet, as the human ship approached, a sense of unease settled over the Council. The vessel was small, almost insignificant compared to the massive warships they had lost, but its presence was unnerving. It moved with a quiet confidence, as if it knew something they didn't. When the human ship entered orbit, the Council's defenses sprang into action. Energy beams lanced out, only to be absorbed by the ship's shields. Drones swarmed it, but were effortlessly disabled by an unseen force. The Council watched in growing horror as their most advanced weapons proved useless. "What is this?" the High Arbiter demanded, their voice rising in panic. "How are they doing this?" The answer came in the form of a transmission from the human ship. A human face appeared on the Council screens, calm and unyielding. "You declared war on us," the human said, their voice steady. "You thought we were weak, divided, unprepared. You were wrong. This ends now." The transmission cut off, and the ship began its descent. The Council's leaders braced for an attack, but none came. Instead, the human ship landed in the heart of the capital, its presence a silent challenge. The Council soldiers surrounded it, weapons drawn, but hesitated. The ship's hatch opened, and a single human stepped out. They were unarmed, their posture relaxed, but their eyes burned with determination. "I'm here to negotiate," the human said, their voice carrying across the silent square. "But make no mistake, this is not a request. It's a warning." The High Arbiter, flanked by their guards, approached the human. "You dare come here to our home after what you've done," they spat. The human smiled, a cold, humorless expression. "You started this," they replied. "We're just finishing it." Before the Arbiter could respond, the human activated a device on their wrist. The Council screens flickered, then displayed a live feed of their own command centers, their military installations, their most secure facilities. All of them were under human control. Panic spread through the Council's ranks. "How is this possible?" one member cried. "Our systems are impenetrable." The human smile widened. "Not to us," they said. "You see, while you were busy building walls, we were learning how to climb them." The device on their wrist beeped, and the screens shifted again, this time showing the Council's own weapons turning on their creators. "You have two choices," the human said. "Surrender, or watch as your own technology destroys you." The High Arbiter scales flushed with anger and fear. "You think you can intimidate us," they snarled. The human's expression hardened. "This isn't intimidation," they said. "This is reality. You declared war on a species you didn't understand. Now you're facing the consequences." The Arbiter hesitated, their gaze flickering to the screens, to the human, to their own trembling hands. Finally, they bowed their head. "We surrender." The human nodded, their expression softening slightly. "Smart choice," they said. "Now, let's talk about how we move forward." As the Council's leaders gathered, their pride shattered but their curiosity piqued. The human began to outline humanity's vision for the galaxy. It was a vision of unity, of cooperation, of shared progress. The Council listened, their initial resistance giving way to reluctant admiration. Perhaps they realized humanity wasn't the enemy they had feared. Perhaps they were the leaders the galaxy needed. But as the human spoke, a single thought lingered in the minds of the Council's members. If this was what humanity could do with a single ship, what could they do with an entire fleet? The answer, they knew, was both terrifying and exhilarating. The galaxy had declared war on humans, and humanity had just shrugged. Now, the galaxy would never be the same. The surrender of the Galactic Council was not the end, but the beginning of a new era. Humanity, having demonstrated their overwhelming superiority, now faced the daunting task of rebuilding a galaxy fractured by war. The Council's leaders, humbled and shaken, gathered in their grand chamber once more, but this time they were not the ones in control. The human envoy, the same unyielding figure who had brought them to their knees, stood at the center of the room, their presence commanding respect and fear in equal measure. "You have two options," the human began, their voice calm but firm. "You can resist, cling to the remnants of your pride, and watch as your civilizations crumble under the weight of your own mistakes. Or you can join us. Together, we can build a galaxy that thrives on cooperation, not conquest. The choice is yours." The Council's leaders exchanged uneasy glances, their pride warring with their survival instincts. Finally, the High Arbiter stepped forward. "We accept your terms," they said, their voice heavy with resignation. "But know this, we do so not out of fear, but out of necessity." The human nodded, their expression unreadable. "Necessity is a start," they said, "but it's not enough. If we're going to do this, we need trust, and trust is earned." With that, the human laid out humanity's plan for the galaxy. It was a vision of unity, of shared resources and knowledge, of a future where no species would dominate another. The Council listened, their initial skepticism giving way to cautious optimism. Perhaps they realized this was not the end of their power, but the beginning of something greater. As the humans spoke, engineers and diplomats from Earth began arriving on the Council's worlds. They brought with them technology, resources, and a willingness to help rebuild what had been lost. Alien cities, once ravaged by war, were restored with startling speed. Economies, once on the brink of collapse, began to stabilize. The Council's leaders, watching their world transform, could not help but feel a grudging respect for humanity. "They could have destroyed us," one member admitted. "Instead, they chose to help us." "Why?" The answer came in the form of a speech by the human envoy, broadcast across the galaxy. "We are not conquerors," they said. "We are builders. We believe in a future where every species has a place, where every voice is heard. The galaxy declared war on us, and we could have responded with destruction. But that is not who we are. We are humanity, and we choose to build, not destroy." The speech resonated across the galaxy, reaching even the most distant worlds. Alien species, once wary of humanity, began to see them in a new light. They were not the reckless, dangerous species the Council had painted them to be. They were something else entirely, a force for change, for progress, for hope. Slowly, tentatively, the galaxy began to unite under humanity's leadership. But not everyone was willing to accept this new order. In the shadows, remnants of the Council's old guard plotted their revenge. They saw humanity's actions not as generosity, but as a calculated move to seize control. "They may have won the battle," one whispered, "but the war is not over." These dissidents, though few in number, were determined to undermine humanity's efforts. They sabotaged rebuilding projects, spread propaganda, and even launched small-scale attacks on human outposts. Humanity, however, was prepared. Their intelligence networks, far more advanced than the Council had ever realized, quickly identified the dissidents. But instead of crushing them with force, humanity offered them a choice. "Join us," the human envoy said, addressing the dissidents directly, "or continue to fight a battle you cannot win. The choice is yours." Some accepted, their hatred giving way to curiosity. Others refused and were quietly neutralized. The galaxy, though not entirely united, was moving closer to peace. As the months turned into years, the changes became undeniable. Alien species, once divided by centuries of conflict, began to work together. Trade routes were established, cultural exchanges flourished, and new technologies were developed. The Council, once the dominant power in the galaxy, became a symbol of the old ways, a reminder of what could happen when power was abused. Humanity, meanwhile, became a symbol of hope of what could be achieved when species worked together. But even as the galaxy began to heal, the human envoy remained vigilant. "This is just the beginning," they said, their gaze fixed on stars. "The galaxy is vast, and there are still challenges ahead. But if we can unite, if we can learn from our mistakes, then there is nothing we cannot achieve. The Council's leaders, now allies rather than adversaries, nodded in agreement. They had seen what humanity was capable of, and they knew that the future, though uncertain, was in good hands. The galaxy had declared war on humans, and humanity had just shrugged. Now, they were leading the galaxy into a new era, one of unity, progress, and hope. And as the stars burned brightly in the endless night, one thing was clear: the galaxy would never be the same. The new galactic order, forged in the aftermath of the war, was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Humanity, once dismissed as a minor species, now stood at the helm, guiding the galaxy toward a future of unity and prosperity. The Galactic Council, though no longer the dominant power, played a crucial role in this new era, their knowledge and experience proving invaluable. Together, humans and aliens worked to rebuild what had been lost and to create something greater. The first step was the establishment of the Galactic Accord, a governing body designed to ensure that no single species could dominate the others. Representatives from every corner of the galaxy gathered to draft the Accord, their debates fierce but respectful. Humanity, though the de facto leaders, insisted on equality. "This is not our galaxy," the human envoy said during the opening ceremony. "It belongs to all of us, and it is our responsibility to protect it together." The Accord's founding principles were simple but profound: cooperation, mutual respect, and shared progress. Trade agreements were signed, opening new routes between worlds that had once been enemies. Cultural exchanges flourished as species shared their art, music, and traditions. Scientific collaborations led to breakthroughs in medicine, energy, and space travel. The galaxy, once fractured by war, began to heal, but progress was not without its challenges. Old prejudices and rivalries lingered, and not everyone was willing to embrace the new order. On some worlds, factions resisted the changes, clinging to the ways of the past. Humanity, however, was patient. They sent diplomats, not soldiers, to these worlds, offering aid and understanding rather than threats. Slowly, even the most resistant species began to see the benefits of unity. One such world was Zaldar, a planet scarred by centuries of conflict. Its inhabitants, a proud and warlike species, had initially rejected the Galactic Accord, viewing it as a surrender of their independence. But when a devastating plague swept across their world, humanity was the first to respond. Medical ships arrived within days, carrying supplies and experts who worked tirelessly to contain the outbreak. The Zaltharians, though initially suspicious, could not deny the sincerity of humanity's efforts. "Why are you helping us?" their leader asked the human envoy. "We have done nothing to deserve your kindness." The envoy smiled. "Because that's what we do," they said. "We help. It's who we are." The Zaltharians, moved by humanity's compassion, eventually joined the Accord, becoming some of its most vocal supporters. Their story became a symbol of the new galactic order, a testament to the power of unity and compassion. As the years passed, the galaxy continued to evolve. New species, once isolated or overlooked, joined the Accord, their voices adding to the chorus of progress. Humanity, though still the driving force behind the Accord, remained committed to their principles. They did not seek to dominate, but to guide, to inspire, to lead by example. Their technology, once a source of fear, became a tool for peace. Their ships, once symbols of war, now carried aid and hope to distant worlds. But even as the galaxy prospered, humanity remained vigilant. They knew that peace was fragile, that the mistakes of the past could easily be repeated. "We must never forget what brought us here," the human envoy said during a speech marking the 10th anniversary of the Accord. "The galaxy declared war on us, and we chose to respond not with hatred, but with hope. That choice defined us then, and it defines us now. Let us never lose sight of that." The speech resonated across the galaxy, a reminder of how far they had come and how much further they could go. The Galactic Accord, once a fragile alliance, had become a beacon of hope, a testament to what could be achieved when species work together. And at its heart was humanity, a species that had once been underestimated, but had proven to be the galaxy's greatest ally. As the stars burned brightly in the endless night, the galaxy looked to the future with hope and determination. The war was over, but the journey was just beginning. And as humanity stood at the forefront of this new era, One thing was clear. The galaxy would never be the same. The galaxy had declared war on humans, and humanity had just shrugged. Now, they were leading the galaxy into a future of unity, progress, and endless possibility.